Guys, stop everything you're doing because this is absolutely massive, and I mean, NFL landscape shifting huge. It just happened, and you're hearing it here first. Stefon Diggs, yes, the Stefon Diggs, is reportedly heading to the Dallas Cowboys, and not in some wild off-season rumor or fan fantasy. This is real, and it's moving fast. Sources from within the league are buzzing, insiders are confirming it, and most importantly, Jerry Jones himself has addressed the move, confirming that the Cowboys are executing what might be the most daring trade of this NFL season. This isn't just another roster tweak. This is a high-impact, high-profile, potentially game-changing acquisition that could reshape the offensive identity of the Cowboys overnight. And let's be honest, if there's one thing we've come to expect from Jerry Jones, it's that when he goes for a move, he doesn't dip his toes and he cannonballs into the deep end with a show-stopping splash. This Stefon Diggs deal is exactly that. Now, to understand the weight of this move, you need to appreciate who Stefon Diggs is and what he brings to the table. Diggs is not just a great receiver, he's one of the premier route runners in the entire NFL, a true technician with elite separation skills, explosive after the catch, and capable of taking the top off a defense with his speed or ripping apart zone coverages with his footwork and timing. He's a multiple-time Pro Bowler. He led the league in receptions and yards during his first year in Buffalo, and he's been the go-to weapon for elite quarterbacks, whether that was Josh Allen in Buffalo or previously Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. And now, imagine him catching passes from Dak Prescott, lining up alongside CeeDee Lamb, creating a duo that immediately becomes one of the most dangerous wide receiver tandems in the NFC, possibly the league. What makes this move even more electric is the family connection. Trevon Diggs, the Cowboys' star cornerback, is Stefon's younger brother, and their reunion on the same NFL roster is not just emotional, it's strategic gold. The chemistry, the mutual motivation, and the natural energy that will ripple through the locker room are things that can't be measured on a stat sheet but could absolutely elevate team performance. When players feel that kind of familial fire, it ignites something special. And let's not forget, Trevon was actively campaigning for his brother to come to Dallas for years on social media, in interviews, and even in subtle post-game comments, and now, it's finally happening. But make no mistake, this move isn't just about brotherhood or feel-good headlines. This is business. This is football warfare. Jerry Jones and the Cowboys front office are making a statement. They're not content with close calls or playoff exits. They want it all. They want to win now, and they're willing to shake up the league to do it. This trade also tells us something very specific about how Dallas views its offensive identity going forward. After years of riding on Ezekiel Elliott and a heavy run game, the Cowboys are fully embracing an aggressive air attack. You bring in Stefon Diggs, and you're not just adding another weapon, you're redefining how defenses have to prepare for you. Double Lamb? Diggs burns you. Press Diggs? Lamb eats in the slot. And if the defense drops two deep safeties to try to contain both? That opens up the run game and gives Dak more room to operate underneath. It's offensive football on hard mode for the defense. And speaking of Dak Prescott, let's talk about what this does for his career. This move gives Dak a true alpha to pair with his current W-Ron, elevating his supporting cast to one of the best in the NFL. The excuses disappear. The weapons are there. Now it's about execution. There's always been debate around whether Dak is elite or just good. This move puts him in a situation where he has everything he needs to prove he's the real deal. And for the coaching staff, particularly Mike McCarthy and the offensive coordinators, the heat is on. You don't get a roster this loaded and just aim to make the playoffs. No, the bar now is NFC Championship or bust. Stefon Diggs brings not just talent, but expectations. And expectations in Dallas are always sky high, but this kind of move turns the pressure up to a level where only winning makes sense. Now let's address the financial and logistical side for a minute, because it's not just about highlight reels and headline hype. Dallas had to free up space, both in terms of salary cap and personnel. The release or trading of key players recently created the breathing room to make a bold acquisition like this. There were rumblings weeks ago about possible restructuring of contracts, about Dallas preparing to go after one more major piece, and this appears to be that piece. It also adds clarity to some of the cryptic comments Jerry Jones has made in recent interviews, saying the team had flexibility to make something big happen. This was it. And to pull it off mid-season, when most teams are holding onto assets tight, that speaks volumes about the negotiations that must have happened behind closed doors. Now, we don't yet know the exact compensation Dallas gave up to land Diggs, but reports suggest it involved a high draft pick and possibly a player with starter potential. Whether that's a future second-rounder or even a conditional first depending on performance remains to be seen. But the message is clear. The Cowboys aren't playing for 2026 or 2027. They're going all in for 2025. As for Stefon himself, he's got something to prove. His time in Buffalo ended with questions about chemistry, about body language, about whether he was still happy or productive in that system. His brief time in Houston was filled with promise, but it was clear the fit wasn't permanent. Coming to Dallas gives him a new stage, a marquee platform, and an opportunity to remind everyone why he was considered elite just 2 seasons ago. And if we know anything about Stefon Diggs, it's that he thrives under the spotlight. He's a showman. He's a competitor. And now he's got a chance to write a new chapter with America's team. But let's also be real here, this move is high risk, high reward. If Diggs underperforms, or worse, struggles with injury again, or doesn't mesh with the offensive scheme, it could become a very expensive misfire. We've seen Dallas go bold in the past only for it to backfire. Think of big-name acquisitions that never really paid off. That's the other side of this gamble. And with every primetime game, with every media interview, that weight is going to follow this team. But if it works? Oh man, if it works, this team could go from contender to favorite in the NFC. Because think about it, the Eagles are strong, yes. The 49ers are elite. But adding a healthy, motivated Stefon Diggs to this Dallas offense makes them a matchup nightmare for any defense. It gives them the firepower to compete with anyone, anywhere, in any weather, in any playoff environment. And don't underestimate the narrative element. This is a move that injects belief into the fan base. After years of almost their seasons, this is Jerry Jones saying enough is enough. We're not just trying, we're doing. And you better believe the locker room will feel that energy. Diggs brings swagger. He brings passion. And when you combine that with the grit of guys like CD, Pollard, and Dak, that's a locker room full of guys ready to make noise. So the bottom line is this: Stefon Diggs is coming to Dallas, the Cowboys are putting the league on notice, and everything from the playoff picture to fantasy football to Super Bowl betting odds just shifted dramatically. This is more than a trade. It's a signal. The Cowboys are tired of waiting. They want to win, and they want to win now. So buckle up, because the next few weeks are going to be a wild ride. The eyes of the football world are locked on Dallas, and with Stefon Diggs in that blue and silver jersey, the show is just getting started. Make sure you're subscribed, notifications on, because I'll be covering every update, every stat, every play as it unfolds. This is not just football. This is history in the making, and we're watching it live.